Welcome back, everybody. This is Todd Huey with Huey Outdoors and Lone Star Bores. What we're looking at right here is the new Agm Clarion. This is the 640 version. So basically, you have the Rattler V2 body back here, but what makes this special is the front part here. Now, this looks like a pretty huge lens. This is actually a lens protector, but behind this lens protector, you have two different lenses. So there's a lever here that I can move back and forth. At the top here, we're at 35mm lens at 2 native magnification. I come down here, we're at a 60mm lens at a 3 native magnification. So either one, I am lossless 640 magnification. Now, what does that do for you? That is 2 scopes in one. Before, when you call me and you talk to me, I'm gonna ask you, well, what range are you gonna be shooting at? You know, are you gonna be open fields? Are you gonna be thick country? Because there's not really very many scopes that will give you the ability to do both. You kind of have to pick which one you're gonna, 90% of the time, are you gonna be shooting inside of 50 yards? Or 90% of the time, you're gonna be shooting out past 100 yards. And just a few times you're gonna do the other, and you kind of gotta choose. On this one, you get both at 640, and it's pretty amazing. The image is super clear. Now, when you're moving between lenses, it's not a continuous zoom. It doesn't go 2, 2.1, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5. It just goes 2. Now we're blurry, 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 in focus at 3. And speaking of that, there's a wall. You can see I hit a wall here, I hit a hard stop here, or a wall, hard stop, hard stop. What I've noticed is if I focus here at 2x or 35mm, and I come down to hard stop at 3x, 60mm, I'm a little bit out of focus. Now, it's not much, but I do have to change it. What I like to do is I like to shoot higher magnification. You can pick either one, or you can just focus every time, but to make things faster, what I do is I come down here to hard stop. I focus for the 3x, because that's where I prefer to shoot most of the time for what I'm doing. And then when I come back up here, you could refocus, but I find as you slowly go up, it will come into focus and you can stop. So it's kind of a little cheat. You could do it either way. If you prefer to shoot at 2x, you could focus up here, and then as you come down here, you just stop a little bit, or you can hard stop and refocus, either one. I just found it faster for me to focus here, hard stop. So I might be scanning at 2x. When I see my target and I'm ready to shoot, I go down and I'm on, and I don't have to refocus. Another thing that I noticed that I thought was pretty neat, at 35mm 2x, the depth of field on this thing is huge. If I focus it at 50 yards, even a couple hundred yards out, it still looks in focus to me. In fact, I have such a wide field of view on this, I can see the end of the barrel. You'll see the end of the barrel show up in the video. It's just blurry, but you'll see it down there. When I go to the 60mm, I have less depth of field. I have to focus for 50, 100, 150, like most typical thermals that have a focus on it. But something that I noticed that I thought was pretty interesting. So if you're fast and furious and shooting at the wide field of view and going for moving targets, you're not going to have to refocus as much as you would for the 3x. Again, it's a Rattler V2 body back here. This is a small scope. You can really, another thing, this thing's gonna fill a lot of roles for a lot of people. Wide field of view, good magnification, clear image, and on top of both of these, you can digitally zoom on top of both of them as well. So extra magnification there. It has the American Defense return to zero mount. It's a 2-throw lever, but like I said, this thing is almost monocular size. It's not much. In fact, I don't know, it might be even a little bit smaller than the original trails were. Now, you do have the mount back here, but I can see somebody using this dual roll as a monocular. You have your return to zero mount, you put it back on the rifle, and you go to town. That leads into, if you're gonna be using this back and forth all night as a monocular and leave it on, batteries might be a concern. Well, this thing has their own proprietary battery in it. This is what it looks like. It comes with 2 of these batteries. You get 6 to 7 hours runtime off of both. So right out of the box, you're going to get 14 hours runtime, which is pretty good, before they used CR123s. Now, I wish it used 18650. I think 18650 rechargeable batteries should be the industry standard, but I kind of understand where they came from on this, because an 18650 is longer than this whole scope is wide. It's a pretty fairly narrow scope for this type of scope. An 18650 they would have had to make it wider for an 18650 to fit, or they would have had to put it in the recoil pulse, which is not a good idea. Another great thing on this is, you see this battery cap open, you don't get your battery cap locked down good and it comes flying open, it's not going to turn off. You have, I don't know if you can see it right here, but there's a little red switch and you have to push that up, and then your battery comes loose. Right now that battery's locked in. It is not coming out under recoil. The scope is not going to turn off. This is just a secondary lock that makes it even more secure. The controls on this are very simple. They're button controls, not the turrets like a lot of these scopes are going to now. But I find these buttons, to me, I do like the turrets, but these are fast. You have your button, you know what it does, you hit it, and you go straight into it. I don't know really what else to say about this scope. The price is, you're in the $5,500 range, which is a little bit more than your mid-range 640 thermals without a rangefinder. But again, you're getting 2 scopes in one. There's not many scopes in this price range that are going to give, in fact, I don't know of any scopes that are going to give you the field of view that this one gives you, and then the magnification with lossless. There's just nothing there. And then as the side, a monocular. So this is kind of a complete package for, especially for somebody that's going to be moving around to other, from open fields to thick country to back and forth. Are there scopes that are going to give you better performance at longer range? Yes, but generally they're not going to give you the field of view. So best thing I'd say is give me a call at the number on the screen. We can talk about what you're going to do. But this is kind of, I would say, the jack of all trades in the thermal scope world now. I mean, it's going to cover so much ground. Oh, something I didn't talk about, getting long here, but the zeroing. It does have one-shot zero. You can choose to one-shot zero, and it will be in focus at the 35 millimeter and the 60 millimeter. You also have the option to zero them separately. You can zero them separately if you just want to do it at the same range. Or I think the idea behind it was, so at 2X, you zero it at 50 yards, and at 3X, you zero it at 200 yards, and you have that ability. I'm not going to do that. I guess some people would. I zeroed them both for my standard. I do a standard 50-yard zero, especially on 308. This is a 308. And I left it like that. But it does give you the ability, if you wanted to, your wide field of view could be up close zero, and your 3X could be a 300-yard zero, a 200-yard zero, whatever you wanted it to do. So there is that option. I opted for the single zero for both lenses. All right, let's get into the kill shot. If you're interested in these are in stock at hueyoutdoors.com, and give me a call and we can talk about them.
took another hit. Oh, third hit. 308. Oh, come on. Getting tired now. There you go. You are not getting away from me tonight. Sneaky bastard.